Hi, this is Johnny L, and welcome to a video on the fourth pillar of wisdom about the three great games of life. What are the three great games of life, and why can they make such a huge difference in your life? Well, let's dive right in to find out. One of the questions that we often ask ourselves is, what is the meaning of life? When we're younger, and as we get older, we kind of stop answering or asking that question. Well, if you know what the meaning of life is, it's really going to help you out because you'll know what to do with your time and your energy, right? If you know what the meaning of your life is, you'll be working on your purpose right from then. It's a fascinating conversation, and there are many answers to the question of what is the meaning of life. But in this short video, we're going to start with a very practical answer to the question of what is the meaning of life. There are just three main things to focus on in life. Consider that idea. If you focus on just these three things, you'll be doing fine. And if you don't, if you're distracted by a lot of other things, you won't be doing so well. So let's take a look at what the three great games of life are. The first is the great game of relationship. Movies are made about it, songs are sung about it. Who do we love? How's our love life going, right? Big, great, important game. The second is the great game of money. We all spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week usually working on the great game of money. And the third great game of life, which no one really talks about, which is very important to your satisfaction and well-being, is the great game of significance. And we'll get into that in just a moment. But understand this, life requires you to play these games. They are hardwired in. It doesn't care whether you win or lose them, but life requires you to play them. Consider this, in the great game of relationship, you can be isolated or you can be in community. It's up to you. We are social creatures. That is hardwired in. So own it. One of the first levels of winning at the great game of relationship is to have a significant other and then have that relationship with your significant other work out. And then there are other levels about family and our circle of friends and influence. So own this game, and it's very valuable to spend time becoming a better lover in all ways in your life. So learn how to have a better relationship. Improve your relationship intelligence. It will do you well and increase your satisfaction in life. The great game of relationship is very important, and if we're not winning, we feel lonely, we feel isolated, we feel out of touch. The second great game is money. We all know this one well. In our society, you basically need money to survive. Now, life doesn't care whether you live in a mansion or under a bridge. It doesn't care, but it requires you to play the game. It's up to you how well you do and how much you win. You've got to play this. And since you've got to play the great game of money, you might as well learn to win. Increasing your financial wisdom and intelligence is a great use of time. Working and spending all your time living paycheck to paycheck is not going to provide a lot of satisfaction. So spend some time learning to win at the great game of money. Find mentors, watch videos, read books, study this because they don't teach a lot about it in school. Mostly you'll learn how to win once you're out of school. Finally, there is the great game of significance. And the great game of significance is one of the most important of all to your satisfaction and well-being. You can have money and friends and still feel empty inside. So the great game of significance is about what gives your life meaning. What gives you a sense of significance? What moves, touches, and inspires you in your life? What are you passionate about? This is what the great game of significance is about. And paying some attention and starting to find some answers in your own life to what moves, touches, and inspires you, and beginning to spend time on those things is going to make a huge difference in your satisfaction and well-being. Now, you have to play all three games. The great game of significance, though, is the most important to your sense of overall fulfillment in life. What gives your life a sense of meaning? Is it music, dance? Is it service, being of service, helping out? Is it spirituality? Is it art? Is it religion? Is it being creative? What gives your life a sense of meaning? Spend time on a passion beyond money and relationship. So yes, you're playing the great game of relationship and money, and you have to play those games, and you want to work at winning at those games. But beyond that, you want to spend some time on a passion beyond money and relationship. It could just be playing the guitar or singing in the church choir, singing in the shower. What are you passionate about, and how can you spend time on that passion? That is going to start to open doors to you winning at the great game of significance. Life is a game board. If you are losing at the game, do something different. Get a coach. Learn from someone who's winning. And don't just win at one game. Starving artists are miserable. Yeah, they can spend hours working on their art, but if they have no money and they have no relationship, the rest of the time they're miserable. Winning as an artist at the great game of significance is great, but you want to pay attention to the other two games. Millionaires find that toys aren't that fulfilling after a while. Okay, I've got 5 million, I've got 10 million, I've got a nice house, I've got a boat, and it's not that fulfilling. And trying to get all of your satisfaction from relationship, clinging to a relationship and trying to get all your joy that way doesn't work either. Here are some winning moves to the three great games of life. First off, it is always your turn. In the great games of life, you can always make moves. So if you are losing in the great game of relationship, get out there. Start to meet people. Get on Match. Do what you need to do to start making winning moves. If you are losing at the great game of money, start to learn some things and try some things out and do something different than just live paycheck to paycheck. It's always your turn. You can take 10 moves in a row if you want. I'm not talking about going crazy and being a type A personality and never resting, but in the great games of life, you can make 5 moves in a row. You can make 10 moves in a row. So if you really want to win, make a bunch of moves. And don't ignore the great game of significance. While you're playing the game of relationship and the game of money, find a passion. Find something that moves and touches and inspires you, and spend some time on it, and you will find yourself being more satisfied, fulfilled, and happy. That's it for this introduction to the three great games. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.